Hello students, welcome you all to this session. So in the previous session we had discussed about phylum Protozoa. We had seen different examples of phylum Protozoa, and in under Protozoa we had studied general characters of phylum Protozoa, and we have studied two examples, the life cycles, like one is Plasmodium and second one is the Entamoeba histolytica. Now we are going to study a new chapter, that is phylum Porifera. So it is an invertebrate phylum, as the name indicates, Porifera. Porous means the holes. So they are commonly called as pore bearing animals. Pore or the pore means the holes. Bera or fera means to bear. So these are pore bearing animals. They are commonly called as pore bearing animals. In your PUC also studied about this in Animal Kingdom chapter called as Animal Kingdom. And this is the first invertebrate phylum. We had seen phylum Protozoa. Next is phylum Porifera. Commonly they are called as pore bearing animals. The term Porifera was coined by Robert Grant. The term Porifera was coined by Robert Grant in the year 1836. He coined the term Porifera, pore bearing animals. It means that the body has numerous pores, tiny pores called as ostia, through which water enters inside the body. That we discussed while telling about general characters. Now we will see. Earlier, scientists like Pliny, Aristotle, they placed this Porifera phylum under plants. They said that these were belonging to kingdom Plantae. Aristotle, Pliny and other naturalists believed that these were plant-like organisms, and they said that these were plants, but because of their sessile nature. Sessile means the organisms which cannot move from one place to another place are called sessile. So due to that character, they are placed under plants. But then they recognized or discovered the water currents in these animals. Water current or water channel or water canal, you can say. Water canal through these pores was discovered. Then they placed it into an invertebrate phylum. Invertebrates called as phylum Porifera. These animals are invertebrates and they have cellular level of organization. There are no such tissues, organs or organ system. This is about introduction. The poriferans, they are pore bearing animals belonging to invertebrate phylum. The term Porifera was coined by a scientist called as Robert Grant in the year 1836. And earlier the naturalists like Aristotle, Pliny, as I told you, they kept it in plants under plant kingdom, but it is not a plant, it is an animal, invertebrate animal. Invertebrates, you know, the animals without notochord or backbone are called invertebrate animals. Now we will see the general characters of this phylum one by one. As you know, these poriferans are usually found in marine water. They are exclusively marine except one, that is Spongilla, which is a freshwater sponge. Now we will go on discussing the general characters of phylum Porifera. First point is they are pore bearing animals. Pore bearing animals. Next, coming to, they are exclusively marine, that is found in marine water. They are sessile. Sessile means, as I told you, they are not movable. They are attached to the substratum or any substance which is available in the water. They are attached to a particular substance. Sessile, and they are not movable, and they are found single, individual or as colonial also. Colonial. Next, as I told you, they are marine, but except one, that is called as Spongilla. Spongilla is a freshwater sponge. Spongilla is a freshwater sponge. So question may be asked, Name a freshwater sponge, because remaining all are, or majority of the poriferans are exclusively marine. Next, coming to, they are multicellular animals. Multicellular means made up of many cells, and they have different type of systems called as choanocytes. They are specialized cells called as choanocytes and pinacocytes. They are specialized cells called as choanocytes, and they have cellular level of organization, or they have cellular grade of organization. This is a very important point. Cellular grade or cellular level. As you know, the organism's level we have seen, that is, there is macromolecules, micromolecules that forms cell, the group of cells form tissues, group of tissues together form organ system, organism, population, community, biosphere and biome. So many categories are there, we have already studied in biodiversity chapter. So the different levels of organization here. So this phylum or these animals belong to which level of organization? They belong to cellular level of organization, means their body is made up of only cells. There are no tissues or organs. You can write here, no tissues or organs as such. If you go to different phylums, then you will come to, there you will have tissue, organ systems. Next, all are mostly aquatic. As I already told you, they are aquatic. Aquatic means which live in water, and aquatic means there are two types, fresh water and marine water. Again, specifically they are all exclusively marine except Spongilla, which is a freshwater sponge. It is found in fresh water. And one more thing, here I told you about sessile, but scientists say that there are some species of poriferans which are movable also. So some are sessile, some are movable. Next, coming to shape and size of the body. Shape and size of body varies in the different shapes of sponges from 1 centimeter to 1 meter also. See, the size varies from 1 centimeter to 1 meter. There are variety of shapes of sponges. Then coming to shapes are vase shaped, flower vase shaped, spherical shape, cylindrical, cup shaped, etc. So the different shapes and sizes of sponges. Shapes are vase shaped, spherical shaped, cylindrical, cup shaped, and size varies from 1 centimeter to 1 meter. So a variety of shapes of sponges. Next, coming to, as I told you, they are sessile. They are attached to some substratum in the water bodies. Next, coming to about symmetry. This is very important point. Body is either asymmetrical. Body is asymmetrical. Now we will discuss this bit in detail. What do you mean by symmetry? You already studied in B.Sc, in first B.Sc in class, that is chapter 4, animal kingdom. Symmetry, the different levels of organization, the different basis of classification of animals, in which one among them is the symmetry. Symmetry means if you cut the animal body into equal halves or two equal halves, the two parts will be equal. That is called symmetry. Again, there are different types of symmetry, that is asymmetrical, bilateral symmetrical and radially symmetrical. Now, what do you mean by asymmetrical? Asymmetrical means if you cut the animal body into two halves, you do not get equal halves or the equal plane passing through any plane. So it is called asymmetrical, means you cut the animal body into any plane passing through the center, you do not get equal parts. It is called asymmetrical. So they are asymmetrical or superficially radially symmetrical. Superficially radially symmetrical. Radial symmetrical example is starfish in phylum Echinodermata. It has 5 arms. If you cut the body into equal parts passing through any plane, you get equal parts. That is called radially symmetrical. Some are superficially radially symmetrical, or majority of them are asymmetrical, means you do not get equal parts. Then coming to sponge's body is diploblastic. You know the meaning of terms diploblastic and triploblastic. During the formation of embryo, there is formation of germ layers, 3 germ layers, ectoderm, endoderm and mesoderm. So these 3 germ layers, if the animal body is having all the 3 germ layers like ectoderm, endoderm and mesoderm, then the animal is said to be triploblastic. If the animal has only 2 germ layers, ecto and endoderm, then it is called a diploblastic. That is ectoderm and endoderm, then it is called diploblastic. It has ectoderm, pinacoderm and choanoderm. Pinacoderm and choanoderm. Only 2 germ layers to perform the body function. So it is called diploblastic animal. And in between there is a mesoglia, a gelatinous substance called as mesoglia. Next one, it also has some collagen fibers. Collagen fibers are present. Next, coming to the skeleton of these poriferans is made up of calcium carbonate. It has a skeleton made up of calcium carbonate, or it is also called as spicules. And sometimes these sponges also have spongin fibers in their body, which gives strength to the animal. Skeleton, as we have endoskeleton, means it gives structural support, strength to the body. So these animals also have skeleton which is made up of calcium carbonate, and they are also called as spicules, which is made up of calcium carbonate, and sometimes they have spongin fibers. Now, they have some amoeboid cells also. Amoeboid cells for water transporting. Next, coming to sponges architecture is unique. What is the unique feature here is water canal system. It has an important feature called as water canal system. Here I will draw just a rough diagram of a sponge. Here body is having numerous pores or holes called as ostia. This is the substratum. Okay. Now these small pores are called ostia. Ostia is the hole or the pore. Next, through these pores water enters into the body because they are marine, mostly aquatic, whether it be fresh water or marine water. They are basically aquatic, living in the water attached to some substratum. So how the digestive system, how does respiration takes place here? Water enters through these minute pores called as ostia, and digestive system, respiration, digestion, excretion takes place. After all this functioning, there is a large opening here called as osculum, through which water goes outside. This large opening is called osculum, through which water goes outside the body. So this is a diagram of a sponge, general sponge, substratum, body is having numerous pores and a large opening called as osculum. So this is also called as water canal system. Water enters into this pores called ostia and goes out through a large opening called osculum. So this is how the most important or defining feature is, that is water canal system. So as I already told you, body is perforated by numerous pores. Perforated by numerous, the large number of pores in this. Numerous pores, and those pores are called as ostia, and the large opening is called as osculum. And when the water enters through this cavity, inside there is a large cavity called as spongiocele. There is a cavity called as spongiocele. It is a cavity in sponges which is called spongiocele. Sponge means sponge, sponges, cele means coelom or the body cavity. So what are the characteristics here? Diploblastic, once again 2 germ layers, ectoderm, endoderm, they are called pinacoderm and choanoderm. Then comes a middle, there is a tissue called as, middle layer called as mesoglia, and also has some collagen fibers. Skeleton, the skeleton of poriferans is made up of calcium carbonate. It is also called as spicules, and it also has some spongin fibers and amoeboid cells. Then what is the most important feature, most defining feature of this phylum Porifera is it has water canal system. As the name indicates, water. So water, how it enters the body of Porifera? Through numerous pores called as ostia. And body is perforated by numerous pores called as ostia, and the large opening called as osculum through which water goes outside the body, and inside they have a cavity called as spongocoel. Discussed about the water canal system. So water moves inside the animal body by numerous pores called as ostia, and inside these animals there is a cavity called as spongocoel or spongocoel cavity. Now we can see the diagram here, the diagram of spongocoel cavity. As I told you, this is a large opening, this is the animal body, and is having numerous pores called as ostia. Ostia is plural, ostium is singular, and these are choanocytes which are also called as spicules, which are providing support to the body. And the spongocoel is, this cavity is called, this part is called spongocoel, through which water movement takes place, like functions like digestion, excretion, removal of waste substances, respiration, and finally after functioning all these physiological functions, the water moves outside to large opening. This large opening is called as osculum. As I told you here in this diagram, it is very small. You can see this diagram in detail here. Osculum, ostium, choanocytes and the spongocoel. The question will be asked, name the cavity of sponges. The cavity of sponges is called as spongocoel. Coelom is the body cavity. Next character is, what about the food? The sponges obtain food, oxygen and remove the waste material from all this cavity called as spongocoel. From spongocoel only this functioning is taking place, because they are not having any specific organs for performing different functions, as they are only cellular level. Their body is made up of only cells. Next. So sponges obtain food, oxygen and give out carbon dioxide, excretory substance, respiratory gases, food and sperms and ova, that is reproductive structures called as sperm, ova, from this cavity called as spongocoel. So what all they are transporting taking place in this canal system? Transport of food to the animals, removal of carbon dioxide, taking in oxygen, then giving out excretory substance. One thing you should remember, the main excretory product of these animals is ammonia. So these animals are called as ammonotelic. Next, other structures like sperms, ova are the reproductive structures. They are also being transported to this cavity called as spongocoel. Next, coming to sponges lack gut. Sponges lack gut, means they don't have alimentary canal. Next, coming to the body is strengthened by calcareous, as I already told you, they have calcareous spicules, or skeleton is made up of calcium carbonate. So we call it as calcareous. There is one class of this phylum called as Calcarea, and we'll discuss a bit later. Calcarea means, so it is named Calcarea because it is made up of calcium carbonate. So it is named as calcareous spicules, and the class is named as Calcarea. And they also have some horny spongin fibers. Horny spongin fibers. Because of that reason, some sponges are called as horny or hard sponges, because of the presence of these hard spongin fibers. Next, coming to digestion is intracellular. Digestion is intracellular. Now, what do you mean by intracellular and extracellular? Digestion is intracellular, means it takes place inside the cell with the help of food vacuoles. They have food vacuoles where digestion takes place. Extracellular means outside the cell but inside the body. But here intracellular means inside the cell itself. And cell has organelles called as vacuoles, and the different types of vacuoles like gaseous vacuoles, food vacuoles, contractile vacuoles for osmoregulation. As in protozoa, they also have intracellular digestion. As in protozoans we have seen, they also have intracellular digestion. Next, coming to, as I told you, the excretory system. Here excretory substances are of three types. Organisms excrete ammonia, urea and uric acid, but these animals are amniotic. Amniotic means the nitrogenous waste mainly contains ammonia. Depending on the type of nitrogenous waste excreted, animals are classified into three types: amniotic, ureotelic and uricotelic. The animals whose nitrogenous waste mainly contains ammonia are called amniotic. Example, fishes. Next, ureotelic. Ureotelic means the animals whose waste mainly contains urea. Example, mammals or human beings. Number 3, uricotelic. Uricotelic means the waste mainly contains uric acid. Examples, birds, reptiles, lizards, etc. Now, as ammonia is highly toxic, ammonia is highly toxic. NH3. Ammonia is highly toxic substance which requires more water for its elimination. Elimination means to remove outside from the body. Ammonia is highly toxic. Toxic means poisonous. It has to be removed from the body. And to eliminate it requires more water. More water is required to eliminate ammonia. Since the animals which are aquatic, they are mainly amniotic because they are living in water itself. They have a lot of water for elimination of waste substance. So, aquatic animals are usually amniotic, and animals which are living on land are either ureo or uricotelic because they do not require much water, because urea and uric acid are not as toxic as ammonia. So, aquatic organisms are mainly amniotic. Next, coming to reproduction. Asexual reproduction is by binary fission or regeneration or fragmentation. Reproduction is mainly by asexual. You already know the meaning of asexual reproduction, as it is uniparental or only single organism is involved in the production of the new offsprings. It occurs by fragmentation. Fragmentation. See, fragments means pieces. The organism body divides itself into pieces or fragments, and each fragment grows into a new individual. It's called fragmentation. Next, coming to budding. As you can see, budding in Hydra, yeast. A bud called as outgrowth, a small outgrowth called as bud, grows on the parent body. When that get matures, it detaches from the parent body and grows into a new individual. That process is called budding. Next one is gemmules. Now, gemmules are endogenous buds. Endogenous buds. It means that buds are of two types, endogenous and exogenous budding. The buds which are growing outside the body or outside the parent body are called exogenous budding, as in Hydra, yeast you can see. But these gemmules are endogenous buds, means they are growing inside the body of the animal. Inside the body. Here there are, this is called as endogenous buds, are called as gemmules. It is a cup-like structure called as gemmules. Here gametes are produced, and here there are spicules like this, and when they come in contact with the female, they get reproduced or fertilized. This is called as endogenous budding or gemmules, endogenous buds. Next, coming to, all are hermaphrodite. All sponges are hermaphrodite. You know the meaning of hermaphrodite? Hermaphrodite means the bisexual animals, means animals having both male and female reproductive organs are called hermaphrodite. A very good example of hermaphrodite is earthworm. Earthworm means it is hermaphrodite or bisexual organism, and mostly they are protandrous. Protandrous. Now Now there are two conditions here, protandrous and protogynous. This you have already studied in your plant kingdom chapter also. Protandrous and protogynous. Androus means androecium, it is a male gamete. Protogynous, gyno means female. Now what do you mean protandrous? Protandrous means here the male gametes mature earlier than females, or the males mature earlier than females. Protogynous means in this case females mature earlier than males. We human beings are protogynous, and these animals like poriferans are protandrous. Here males mature earlier than females. So protandrous, hermaphrodite, reproducing by asexual means. Next, coming to cleavage. What do you mean by cleavage? During developmental stage, the blastocyst or the embryo undergoes division. Cleavage is the division of the blastocyst. So what type of division you find here? Cleavage is holoblastic. Cleavage, holoblastic, and development is indirect. Development indirect. Indirect means it is by larval stage. And a different larva in the phylum Porifera, that is Amphiblastula, Parenchyma are the names of the larva. They are free swimming larva called as Amphiblastula, Parenchyma and Diploblastula. Diploblastula are the names of larva of these animals. If development is direct, then there is no larval stage here. In human being, development is direct or fertilization is internal, but here development is indirect. Indirect means it is not direct, and it undergoes some larval stages called as Amphiblastula, Parenchyma, Diploblastula, and finally grows into a new individual. So these three are the names of the larval stage where development is indirect. So what are the characteristics in reproduction? They are asexually reproducing, that is reproducing by fragmentation, budding, and a budding is exogenous budding, and exogenous buds are called as gemmules, cup-shaped structures, and mostly all sponges are hermaphrodite, means they have two sexual organs, a male and female in the single individual. Example, earthworm also, that is in Annelida phylum. And what type of males here? Males are protandrous. Protandrous means the males mature earlier than females. I just told the meaning of protogynous. You should know what do you mean by protandrous and protogynous. And development is indirect by larva. The question will be asked, very important. Name the larva of phylum Porifera. The answer is Parenchyma, Diploblastula, and third one is Amphiblastula. So these are general characters of phylum Porifera. Now we will see the systematic classification of this phylum Porifera. So we have discussed about the general characters of phylum Porifera. Porifera, the pore bearing animals. We have seen the general characters. Now we will see the classification of the phylum Porifera. As you can see here, the entire classification, the phylum Porifera is divided into 4 classes mainly. Number 1, Calcarea. Number 2, Hexactinellida. Number 3, Demospongiae. And number 4, Sclerospongiae. Once again, phylum Porifera is divided into 4 classes. Number 1, Calcarea, Hexactinellida, Demospongiae and Sclerospongiae. Now if you come to the characters of class Calcarea, as the name indicates, Calcarea means they are calcareous sponges. The skeleton is made up of calcium carbonate and they are found in shallow waters, in marine waters. Shallow waters means the water is not as deep, some on surface only. Then coming to body is vase-like cylindrical. Vase-like cylindrical body. Vase-like cylindrical, and example is Leucosolenia, Grantia and Lucilla. So, Calcarea, once again, the characteristics of Calcarea are the organism body is made up of calcium carbonate. The skeleton is made up of calcium carbonate and their body organization is of 3 types. Leuconoid type, solenoid type as well as asconoid type. Asconoid type, psychonoid type and leuconoid type. This will discuss in the next session that what it is called as leuconoid, asconoid and leuconoid type of body organization, and they are found in shallow waters and in marine water. Example, Leucosolenia, Grantia and Lucilla. Second class coming to Hexactinellida. Hexa means 6. It is made up of 6 rayed spicules. It has 6 rayed spicules. So these animals are called as Hexactinellida. Hexa means 6 rayed spicules. Then coming to, they are commonly called as glass sponge. Hexactinellida is commonly called as glass sponges made of how many spicules? 6 rayed spicules. 6. So it is called as Hexactinellida. Hexa means 6. Here spongocele is well developed. The body cavity we have seen spongocele. It is well developed and they are found in depth tropical seas. They are found in depth tropical seas and they can grow up to 1 meter. Now you can see the difference here. These calcarea are found in shallow waters. Shallow water means the water is not too deep. They are found just on surface of water. But Hexactinellida are found in the depth tropical seas and they grow up to 1 meter. Example is Euplectella, Hylonema. They are commonly called as glass sponges. Once again, excuse me, Hexactinellida means the characters are they having how many rayed spicules? 6 rayed spicules. So they are named as Hexactinellida. And here spongocele is well developed and they are growing in depth tropical seas and they grow up to 1 meter, commonly called glass sponges. Example is Euplectella and Hylonema. Third class is Demospongiae. Demospongiae are large sized. I'll write here. They are large sized and 90% of sponges are Demospongiae. So in phylum Porifera, majority of sponges are belonging to class Demospongiae. So we are writing it as 90% of the poriferans are belonging to class Demospongiae. They are marine forms because you know there are some fresh water also. So it is marine forms and they have brilliant colors. There is brilliant coloration in these Demospongiae and they are leuconoid type. The body organization is leuconoid type. In the next session we will see what is leuconoid, asconoid and cyconoid type of body organization. So Demospongiae. Demospongiae means they are large sized. Majority of them are Demospongiae, marine forms, brilliantly colored and body organization is leuconoid type. Now in this third class for Demospongiae, it is again divided into 3 subclasses. Class Demospongiae is further divided into 3 subclasses. Number 1, Tetractinellida. See, as the name indicates, tetra. Tetra means it is having 4 rayed spicules. Its skeleton is made up of 4 rayed spicules and spongin is absent. Spongin fiber is absent. Example, Oscarella. So Tetractinellida, it is a subclass of class Demospongiae. Tetractinellida, tetra means 4, skeleton is made up of 4 rayed spicules, spongin fiber is absent. Example, Oscarella. Second subclass under Demospongiae is Monaxonida. Monaxonida is, it has monaxin spicules. Monaxin spicules and spongin fibers are present or absent. Here spongin fibers are absent, but in Monaxonida it has monaxin spicules and spongin fibers are present or absent. Example, Spongilla. If you see the name Spongilla, what comes to your mind? It is a freshwater sponge. Remember this. It is a freshwater sponge because majority of them are marine. Third subclass under Demospongiae is Keratosa. Keratosa here, spicules are absent. Spicules are absent and they have horny spongin fibers. They have Horny sponge in fibers. Example, Euspongia. Euspongia are also called as bath sponges. Euspongia. So third subclass is Keratosa. So once again, the third class called as Demospongiae is further divided into 3 subclasses. First subclass is Tetractynellida, second Monaxonida, and third subclass is Keratosa. Last one or the fourth class is called as Sclerospongiae. Sclerospongiae, they have coralline sponges. They are called as coralline sponges. Second one, skeleton is made up of spicules and spongin fibers. Then third one, they are leuconoid type. Body organization is leuconoid type. As I told you, there are 3 organization here: asconoid, syconoid and leuconoid sponges. Third one, they are found in caves, tunnels, dark places, caves, tunnels, or under dark places where there is no sunlight, or you can say coral reef. They are also called as coral reefs. Example is hard sponges. So example of class Sclerospongiae is hard sponges. Sclera means hard. So this is the classification of phylum Porifera. So phylum Porifera is divided into 4 subclasses. That is, first class is Calcarea. It is divided into 4 classes. Number 1, Calcarea, Hexactynellida, Demospongiae and Sclerospongiae. In Calcarea there are no subclasses further. There are orders, but you are studying only up to class level. Example, Leucosolenia, Grantia and Lucilla. Second class, Hexactynellida, Euplectella and Hyloneema. Commonly it is called as glass sponges. Third class, Demospongiae, is further divided into 3 subclasses. Why there are 3 subclasses here? Because 90% of the sponges are belonging to Demospongiae. So Tetractynellida, Monaxonida and Keratosa with examples. And the 4th class is Sclerospongiae. Example, hard sponges, and they are found in caves, tunnels or dark places. Example, coral reefs and hard sponges. So this is about the phylum Porifera. So what we have discussed today, the general characters of phylum Porifera and classification of phylum Porifera up to classes with examples.